we're so a deflective society. We're not supposed to do reflection or be self-centered or selfish. Because now the world is saying, you don't care about nobody else. But the truth of the matter.
Warning, the following presentation is intended for mature audiences. It includes stigma topics like sex, addictions, mental illness, adult dialogue, and strong language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Already, and I'm super excited about this one because I just love Monique Williams so much. She's an intuitive self-care advisor, and her specialty is about like chronic pain and, you know, like creating a self-care routine within that. And I love that so much because I've never seen that before. So before we dive into all the self-care goodies, I would love for you to just share with all the ladies just a little bit more about yourself.
Well, hey, everybody. Like she said, I'm Monique Williams, your intuitive self-care and self-love advisor. And I work with women, teaching them how to create and implement daily self-care and self-love practices the simple and easy way, in spite of you being super busy and overwhelmed. And outside of me actually working with clients, I'm a mom, I'm a fibromyalgia and osteoarthritis warrior. And I just love life. I love experiences and just, embodying this leisure lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like so excited because like I said, like I love Monique so much. I appreciate like the work that you do in this world. And I just remember reading some of your posts and watching some of your videos, and I'm like, damn, like this woman is so brilliant. And I love how you've taken your journey with like oh my gosh, I totally can't even say it.
Fibromyalgia. That's a big word.
Sorry, thank you. And just how you've kind of like created still like a self-care routine around that. So I love that you're sharing your story with everyone.
Yeah, I think it was so important, because a lot of times people, I share it, but a lot of times people are shocked. They're like, wait, what? You live with daily chronic pain? I don't understand. You don't look like the people that I know that experience it every day. What do you do different? And so I have to tell people, well, one, I'm a natural healer and comforter, and I do have a background in nursing. So it wasn't like it was really easy for me. I want to tell people that it really wasn't easy. Like I got diagnosed like 10 years ago. Yeah, like 10, 11 years ago. I know everybody is like, we're hearing COVID-19 every day. And that's in the family of coronaviruses. So I actually contracted a coronavirus in 2009, 2010, which was the H1N1 at the time. So with that virus, now I felt like they should have did what they did with COVID and shut down everything, but they didn't really know anything about it. But long story short, a coworker came to work. She was sick. Several other nurses contracted it. I was one of them. I got sick, and after recovering, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia because the after effect of the coronavirus, it had attacked my nervous system and my muscular system. So from this day forward, since that time, I've had to deal with the pain. Now, I will say, again, it wasn't easy because I was a woman who, like most women, I was a mom, I had a family, and it was like, I have to work, bills have to be paid. I have to be active in my child's life and go to school and do these activities that I neglected symptoms. I mean, I was going to the doctor. I'm the nurse, right? Most people, if you're in the medical profession, we always ignore our symptoms. I kept saying, well, if I relax on the weekends or if I take some naps on my days off, I'll be fine. But then I realized I couldn't do it anymore. Still didn't listen to my body. I switched jobs. Thought that was going to be better. And I had a manager that micromanaged. And I had a mental breakdown one day at work because she was just like harassing to get off the phone. I was really working with a patient who was dealing with death. And that day, the doctor took me out of work. I that was that wasn't expected, all right? Because I felt like at this time I had went to college. I worked so hard. I bust my butt off. And now you're telling me I can't work. And so I was forced out of working and I found myself stuck at home now figuring out what I was going to do with my life. So I can admit the first 2 years was me being depressed. I had generalized anxiety because I did not know what I was going to do. And then I was in a place where they were giving me treatment, but in my mind, being a nurse, I was like, you need to heal me. Like you keep telling me this is going to be life every day. I need you to heal me so I can get back to doing what I'm doing. But it was a blessing in that. Because what I realized, being at home, not being able to work, not being able to function, I was in a place of servitude. I was exhausting myself, giving to everybody, my patients, my daughter, my significant other, like everybody in my life was getting all of me and I wasn't giving myself anything. And so for the first time in my life, I was able to become more self-aware. I had to ask tough questions. How did you get here? What do you like? Do you really enjoy doing the things that you're doing? Are you really chronically stressed? I started to realize that even though I had this fibromyalgia, a lot of my worry for 2 years was causing more pain. So I had to get to a point after that long road to say, you got to face the fact that this is just what you have. Because I did not want to admit that's what I had. I know you be in the world, I'm spiritual too. You'll be like, oh, if you focus on something, you can manifest it away. Don't speak it into existence. But I just had to sit down and just admit, this is what I have. When I was able to say that, then I was able to make the shift to say, what is my new normal? Now I can rewrite my life and how I want it to be. And at that day forward is when I discovered my own self-care journey. And now the person that you see today, who is, in spite of, I'm in pain right now, I can show up happy, I can smile, I can still help people and still live life and enjoy it and have pleasure on my terms because I was able to admit I'm in control of rewriting my life and having a new normal. And self-care now is life or death. Every decision that I make, every choice I make, everything I participate in, it is caring for me. So that's the journey that I came to having, being the self-care expert and just living with chronic pain and able to create a self-care lifestyle for me because I had to make it a life or death decision.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love that you just literally reframe that. And you're like, no, like it's a self-care lifestyle. It's no longer this routine. It's no longer this practice. It's a lifestyle. And I love that so much.
Because what I learned was before all of this happened, self-care was more of a extra thing I did outside of life because that was my mindset. Like, life was work, family, you take care of the necessities. And then self-care was extra. And so for me, my self-care looked like experiences. I love experiences. So my self-care was like, after I check out of normal life, I can go on vacation. Or I can enjoy different cuisine, or, I can go have a massage. But afterwards, I realized it's not an addition to your life. It's not an outside thing that you do. It's actually your life. Like every time I pay a bill, I'm caring for myself. Every time I take a bath, I'm caring for myself. Every time I not connect with people who do not align with what it is I want to do with my life, I'm taking care of myself. When I check my bank account and I see where my money is going and coming, I'm taking care of myself. Every time I eat, every time I change my diet, every time I set a boundary, every time I meet new friends, even being on this summit with you is self-care. So it's like everything I do is self-care. I'm either choosing self-care or I'm choosing self-abuse. And if it doesn't align with my life, it's not caring for me. And that was the huge shift that I got.
Oh my gosh. If it doesn't align with me, it is not caring for me. Oh my gosh. Yes. Say that louder for the people in the back. Love
Yeah.
that.
And people say that's so extreme. No, it isn't. You have to be extreme. I'm living an experience on this world. That's what I can control. Now, outside stuff, I may or may not can control, but I do control the world that I'm creating in this world. And if I decide or choose to participate in something, do something, give someone access to my life, and I know that it really doesn't bring me joy, peace, happiness, love, and pleasure, why am I doing it?
Yeah.
Like I'm self-harming myself. I'm self-abusing myself. I'm creating what I don't want. And so I had to really be realistic and say, look, if it doesn't align, if it doesn't decrease my stress, if it doesn't help me be mentally healthy, all the other areas of my life, then I have to make a decision right now. Am I going to care for me or am I going to neglect myself? And so every day I choose whatever I participate in, whatever I do, it has to be caring for me and giving me pleasure. And that's just like the end of, that's just that on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. So while we're kind of talking about confident things, I would love for you to share why you believe it's important for women to build their confidence.
A lot of times as women, and listening to my story, we don't trust ourselves and our decisions, right? And it's not our fault. Okay. Now, once you get the knowledge, you have to be self-accountable. But it's not our fault. Before we come into this world, we have a purpose and we have a birthright to experience great things. It is the environment once you hit this earthly realm, whatever your parents went through, whatever your family went through, whatever the community you went in, wherever you go to school, you have all of these thousands of people around you telling you how life should be. Not telling you the life that you deserve and your birthright of what you're supposed to experience in this life. You're told through other people's perceptions, according to all of their hurt, all of their pain, all of their success, what they think it's supposed to be. They tell you this is normal. And then you take that on, but somewhere inside of you, you're like, well, I don't know if that's right or not. Or I don't really want to do that, or it doesn't feel good, but you don't want to feel like you're the outcast. It goes back to life or death. What do you really want to experience? Regardless of what your parents wanted you to do, your friends think you should do, what people say success looks like or happiness looks like, you need to forget all of that and say, what is it that you desire? If you woke up today and you made a decision, what would make you happy? Like from the inside out, what would you smile about? What would feel like orgasmic? Like I tell people all the time, we think about orgasms for sex. Like sometimes I think about food or tea and I'm just like chuckling, like, God, this tea, I gotta drink this tea. It's so good. Like you need to get to that. Whatever makes you feel that way, be confident enough to say, I'm gonna make choices to experience that. Because if I wait for everybody else to tell me, or I'm waiting for everybody else to approve of what I'm doing, I'm guaranteeing you, you're not going to get the full experience on this earth that you were supposed to have. You need to be confident in that alone of what you want to experience. When you get confident in what you want to experience, you naturally become confident in yourself. Because you're like, look, I made a decision and look what I felt after I made this decision, regardless of what other people said. Like, I'm on cloud nine over here. That automatically starts to boost your confidence because when you make those decisions and you experience it and it becomes reality, what do you want to do? Like an addict. You want more and more and more and more and more. And a person who wants more and more and more, they don't settle for no because they've already experienced it. So I want that again. I want that natural high. So you're going to be confident enough to make the decisions in yourself to constantly have that experience.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so since we're talking all these things, I would love to know, what is the most confident thing that you've ever done?
Oh my goodness. It's the most confident thing I ever did. Oh man, it's so many. I think the most confident thing I was able to say is that I do run in sensual energy. I grew up in a Christian home. And so, you know how it is when you're in religion. Sex and sensuality is seen like something really bad or dirty. Like you should like hide that somewhere on the inside until you get a man and then you can explore it. But truth of the matter is I was always running in that sensual energy when I was younger. But I shut it down because the rest of the world said you weren't supposed to be that way. And so when I made the decision to say, I'm a sensual being. I love sex. I love my body. I love being naked. I love rubbing on myself. I walk around the house naked. That was like the most confident thing I did, in my life. Because I'm like, I'm still who I am, even though I'm sensual. I felt like it would change me. It would make me like some dirty whore or something if I admitted that. But when I admitted it, it actually allowed me to be more of me. Like it opened me up to receive more love, to receive more support. It was crazy. Like before, I wouldn't let people support me or assist me with even simple things like in the store. I'd be like, oh, I get it. Don't worry about it. And people don't think of that as sensual energy, but that is really the most confident thing I did. When I was able to say, I'm a sensual girl. Sometimes I walk in the store and all of a sudden I'm like getting aroused because I just think I feel good.
Yeah.
And people want to help me with that. I'm like, oh, people want to help me because I feel that way. Oh, I need to walk in the store like this a little bit more. That's probably the biggest thing I did when it came to choosing something for confidence.
Oh my gosh, I'm loving like all the examples that all these experts, including yourself, have like shared, because like I love that so much. I mean, obviously I'm a relationship and sex coach, so whenever I see or hear that someone like build their comments by like just acknowledging that they're, like you said, like a sensual being, and they're like, oh, I do like sex, like I love myself, I love my body, and I like intercourse, like it's something that we were made to enjoy, like God did create it for people to enjoy, and I love hearing that.
Yeah.
So
like, how are you so happy? Turning myself on.
So what kind of encouragement or advice would you give someone struggling with like creating this new self-care lifestyle for themselves?
The first step, like 12 step, first step is just admitting what you want. A lot of times, and I've done it, women I work with and I see other women do it, the first step they do is set goals. Like, let me tell you about some goals I want in my life. They make this huge list, they have vision parties, and they have all these goals, but the goals aren't really aligned with what they desire, right? And then they succeed, but they still feel like something's missing. So I advise everybody, you need to sit down and truly admit what it is that you truly want, even if what you admit does not fit into what you're currently living. Like you got to get past, I see a lot of people, they stop when they get ready to admit what it is they truly want. They stop because then their current life doesn't look like it and they get guilt. They feel guilty. Don't feel guilty. Just write. If you have to write it down, you have to go to a therapist. You have to come back to it. First step, admitting what you want. Once you admit what you want and need and desire how you want life to feel, because your life is a huge experience, then you can make the next steps, the strategic steps in order to create that. And it could be pivoting your current life. It could be letting go of things. It could be adding things, whatever that looks like. But you have to first admit it before you can even create a plan to even do it. And don't be afraid that it might change along the way. Mm-hmm.
Of course, of course. I
Mm-hmm.
remember because I know this huge, like the mainstream version of like self-care is like, oh, bubble baths and like red wine and
Mm-hmm.
and all the simple things like that. And you know what? Like I do enjoy some of those things, and part of those were part of my self-care routine, my lifestyle. And then, like you said, like things shifted, and I'm like, I don't really enjoy having a glass of wine anymore as like self-care after a long day. I would rather have like a cup of like chamomile tea with some milk in it. And you know what? Like that really serves me instead. And I had to change that. And yes, it was something small, but like you said, like you have to be open to allowing your self-care lifestyle to change because you're changing as a human as well. And the things that you
Yeah.
want or serve you or don't serve you anymore, they're going to shift constantly.
Yeah, life is a whole changing experience, right? So what I've learned is people feel like when they do this personal development work that they're going to reach some plateau and then it's going to be like, ah, and like this is just, heaven. And then I have to tell people, and people don't want to have these conversations because it scares them. You're going to constantly change and do something till you die. You're going to learn something. You're going to learn about yourself. You're going to evolve experiences. The world around you is going to change. So you're going to have to work your life into that. And everybody has a season. So I'm glad you brought up that you didn't like wine. Now you realize it was chamomile. When I started talking to people about this, they're like, ooh, I thought, self-care was supposed to be like this like ever-changing heavenly experience, right? But you might be in a season of financial self-care.
Mhm.
Like everything else is fine, but you're in a state of financial self-care. And you have to be very careful when you're working with certain people because what I've learned working with other people is that what we usually do is the self-care that we create is actually helping a symptom of something else. So I'll work with women, they'll say, like, I just think I have some, I'm just mental, I need some mental self-care, right? I need to go see a therapist. And I'll be like, okay, you need mental self-care. Why do you feel that way? Well, I'm just worried all the time and I'm just stressed. And then they start to work on that and nothing never changes. Well, then when I get to talking to them a little bit more, what I discover is it's their financial self-care. They're not having enough money coming in and going out. So what is the side effect of that? You get to have a domino effect in your life. So because you didn't realize financial self-care is what you were supposed to focus on in this season, now it's beginning to show up in every area of like your life. Now you begin to have physical issues. I'll see that in the women. You're worrying about your money, but now you're getting high blood pressure. You don't know why. And you're going to the doctor for it, or you get migraines. And now you're worried and stressed. Now your relationship is going crazy. Now your friends don't want to be around you. They say you have an attitude, and then you're like, I don't know what's going on. Work on your money. But that's going to be difficult. If you want some type of harmony in your life, that's the season you're in right now. If you focus more on your money and you don't want to, the rest of your life is going to be great. Because right now you need to care for yourself by caring about your money.
Yes.
And that might change later. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. I love that you brought up that it can be like one area of your life, like you said, like money, and like they're worried about money, or you know what, maybe someone's like just really stuck at a career or a job that they absolutely hate, and then it's showing up at all different areas of their life. They come home, they're miserable, they yell at their dog, they yell at their spouse or their children, and it's like, okay, well, maybe you need to shift careers, or maybe you need to work at a different company or start your own business. Like, and bringing awareness to that is so important, like you said, like making the decision that it's like I need to put me first, and like I need to accept that things need to change, and that my happiness is important.
Mm-hmm. And when your happiness is really important, because we're so a deflective society. We're not supposed to do reflection or be self-centered or selfish. Because now the world is saying, you don't care about nobody else. But the truth of the matter is you will attract more people. You'll have better relationships. You'll have better money. You'll have better sex and better education and career because you are taking care of you. Like the example you were bringing up about the job, the amount of people that I'll say, well, how long you been on your job? 15 years. When was the last time you updated your resume? What do I need to update my resume for? You might want to do a shift. And in 15 years, you've gained 15 years of skill.
Mm-hmm.
Your job, I mean, they're going to run whether you're there or not. But you gained 15 years of skill, 15 years of experience, 15 years of growth. Even if you don't think you're going anywhere, you update it every year. You might have a growth thing. You might be like, okay, I hate my department, but I really want to go over here in the second department. Yeah, your job knows you've been there for 15 years, but they might want you to show what you've learned. It could be as simple as changing your entire life by giving them your updated resume. Mm-hmm. And you get a promotion. Or it could be as simple as, oh, if I go over here and put in an application, they're hiring people for 10 years experience and I got 15. They hire me on the spot and I double my income.
Yes, yes.
You just have to do simple stuff like that for yourself and say, I'm doing it for me. What is my why? You know, with women, most of our whys is my kids or my family or my legacy. Before that, what is your why for you? Mm-hmm. I want to be happy. I want to be pleasurable. I want to be peaceful. I want to be stress-free. I don't want to be overwhelmed. I want to be prepared for my future harvest.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So how can women build their confidence with creating a self-care lifestyle?
Did we answer that? I think we answered that.
We kind of did, but is there anything else you'd like to add?
Try it. Like, you know, once, like we were talking about, you just have to make a decision and be confident. Try it. If you don't like it, then you don't like it. Try something else. If you don't like it, try something else. It's not a failure. You're trying to figure out what you like. I think a lot of times if we don't like it, you fail, and then your confidence is like, I invested in something for me and I didn't like it. Keep trying. Keep trying. That's the only way you can build your confidence, you know, because confidence is so dynamic, complex. What I think of as confidence might be different for you. So you have to figure out what it is that you need. Just keep trying. You don't like it, you don't like it. Try something else. The only time you're a failure and you lack confidence is when you just give up and don't do nothing. You got to do something. You're going to live and die. In between that time, you have to try something. I don't care if people say you shouldn't do it. Do it. And then if you like it, you found something new. If you don't like it, then you don't do it anymore. Or you might have, it wasn't the right time, try it again.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. They're like, it's so important for women to listen to their intuition and bring that awareness to certain things that are coming up for them. If it's like, oh, I really want to try, you know, pottery, or I really want to try painting, or, you know, my immediate thing is like going to the arts, because it's like we need to be more creative as women and just like get into that feminine energy. But it's like, if there's something else coming up for you, you know what, like, hey, I really want to go traveling. You know what, if that keeps coming up for you and it's not the right time, it's coming up for a reason, and you need to listen to that. And like you said, like try and try again and see like what's gonna fit with you.
Yeah. And you don't really know. You know, our parents raise us, or whoever raised you, they raised you. But then, you know, once you go out on your own, you have to figure it out. Mm-hmm. I mean, like I could give you advice. You know, Samantha, you could give somebody advice, but until they immerse themselves in it and personally experience it, you don't know what you like or don't like. You don't know what makes you feel good and make you confident and what doesn't. I think a lot of times that we focus so much on what doesn't, or somebody said something to us, or we experience something, and like, oh, that's really bad. But the opposite of bad is good. So don't immerse yourself in the things that make you really bad or feel bad. Go and try new things. you try new things, you learn new things, it increases your knowledge, it increases your wisdom. Now you can make a different decision the next time.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to have faith and take that step to say, let me try it. And the worst case could be, I don't like it. I would say that the worst case you could ever get is that was a no. That was a huge no not to do. That's not even that bad. Mm-hmm. Just try again and keep trying and trust your decision. Like you were saying, our intuitions. I actually think we ignore our intuition because what some women think is their intuition is actually subconsciously messages that have been given to you from the world from the time you were born. And you're like, my intuition told me not to do it. But really, I bet if you took note and looked back, your family, your environment, your coworkers, or other people have told you, I don't think that's a good idea because they weren't confident in choosing what it is that they wanted to do. And you think that's your intuition, and it's not your intuition. It's somebody else's projected fear on you. So do it and do it again till you find what it is that you like. Mm-hmm.
Yes, just do it and do it again over and over again until you find yourself and build this amazing life. Well, this conversation has been so beautiful. Mm-hmm. Monique, I just love and appreciate you so much. You were just so incredible. But before we wrap everything up, I would love for you to share what you shared inside the summit as a freebie, and then inside the Glow Up bundle, what was your paid offer that you contributed?
So in the freebie, I gave away my guide, Self-Care 101. And so I talk about the different areas as it comes to your life. I call it the holistic self-care model. And it lists the 8 areas in your life that you can work on when it comes to self-care. So I break that down a little bit more and I give examples. That way it'll kind of get you to thinking about what it is that you need to do when it comes to your self-care 101. And then for the paid option that I gave for this summit is I gave a 30-day trial in my online membership, the Self-Care Immersion. It's an on-demand self-study membership, but you do have access to me live. And what I wanted to do was create a community for women to come together, support one another, just to have a sacred, safe space to speak their truth. Right? To speak your truth and say, hey, this is what I want to change, as well as give you the tools, the strategies, and resources that works with your schedule that you can absorb at any time so you can start working on your own self-care journey.
Yes. And the retail value of that is $50. So you get that plus 15 other courses, memberships, products inside the Glow bundle for only $47, literally less than a tank of gas. Yes. And this is like, if you've been like saving to like just purchase one course, you get 16 in this bundle. So it is an incredible resource and at an insanely low price. But Monique, I would just love to thank you again for being a part of the summit. I love you so much. And I'm so grateful for all of your expertise and golden nuggets that you shared with us today.
Thank you for having me here. It was a pleasure to be able to share that. And I hope that the ladies got some nuggets out of it and they can go ahead and start their self-care journey.
Yes, well, I know I did. So I know other women that are listening are going to be like, damn, like she knows what she's talking about. Okay, ladies. Well, thank you for joining us for the live or catch the replay later. And I will see you guys tomorrow for day 7.
Bye.